Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Elias, Sailor Eli Warren.
I am Maddie Grace.
I am Bernard Hauk.
We're all really tired, apparently. We are finishing up Ease 1 today. I think I said it right that time. I said it wrong the first time, but I fixed it. So, before we get into that, though, how was everybody's week?
I have the coronavirus. No,
you do not.
No, you don't.
Okay, I am actually sick, though.
But are you one of the 38% of people who will refuse to drink Corona beer because of the coronavirus?
You darn tootin'. That's so weird. I actually do think that I'm getting sick, which is really funny because I'm basically never sick. So, if the one goddamn time I'm sick is the time when the coronavirus is happening, but I'm just normal sick, I find that rather humorous. I have been doing like nonstop canvassing for the last week, so I guess I have been coming into contact with a higher number of people than usual, which could be it. It also could be exhaustion, but really, if it was exhaustion, I would have gotten sick like 3 days ago because I've actually gotten a good bit of sleep in the last 2 days. So anyway, yeah, my joints are aching and throat's a little stupid. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna be working all day tomorrow, running people to the polls and stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna infect like 1 million people with the coronavirus.
Great.
But also, I choose to believe that diseases are like they're the same as Pokemon status effects, where now that I've gotten one virus, I can't get another one. I can only have one.
Well, you can still get confused.
Oh yeah, that's my secret, Bernard. I'm always confused.
You can still get confused. You can still get attracted.
That's true. Yeah.
I am confused and attracted. Yes, this checks out with my experience. But yeah, no, it's like, oh no, I've already got a cold. I can't get coronavirus. We're good.
That is definitely not the opposite of how immune systems work.
No, it's absolutely.
I actually have a very powerful immune system, which is why I very seldom actually do get sick. I've probably gotten sick probably less than 5 times in my adult life. And by that, I would say like, I don't know, somewhere around the time, maybe halfway through college, I just stopped getting sick. And that would have been a good 8 years ago. Which is nice. I'm fortunate in this way. But if it turns out I am really sick, I'm glad that I have health insurance now. That is super expensive health insurance. Now, not to the point where I would want to go to the hospital because my copay or because my deductible is $3,000.
Woo!
Might be $4,000, but at least the out-of-pocket expenses are lower than they would be if I didn't have insurance. If I have to just fucking go to a clinic or something. Anyway, that's me. What's up with y'all? Are y'all sick?
Nope.
Good.
Thankfully.
I'm not sick.
I had allergies, the worst fucking allergies I think I've ever had for 2 days. To the point where I was like, I just want my life to end. Like, it was so fucking miserable. And then they stopped, thankfully, and I seem to be okay now. Other than that, still playing way too much Final Fantasy XIV.
Hell yeah.
By way too much, I mean as much as I want. So,
speaking of Final Fantasy XIV, did y'all see the big news?
I saw that there's a Final Fantasy VII demo.
Exactly, yeah, that's the big news.
Okay.
It dropped last night at like 2 fucking a.m. Which is, I mean, sure, in Japan it's a normal time, but it was more reasonable. But yeah, last night the FF7 remake demo dropped, and in classic Square fashion, it's 1 billion fucking gigabytes. I think it's like 7. So the point is, I knew first. So it was actually good that it was so big because I was like, yeah, I'm not playing this tonight.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to take too long to download. So I set it to download. I'm probably going to wait until after the Super Tuesday election, to play it. Cause I'm real busy. But I'm excited. People are already saying really good things about it. They're saying like, hell yeah, it's super fun to play. Yeah.
Cool.
I woke up at like 5 a.m. and saw the message you sent me freaking out about how there was a demo, and I set it up to download on my phone so that I can play it later today.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. I think it might be a couple hours long, too, the demo.
Oh, wow.
I could have misread that.
I think I saw 3 hours being thrown
Yeah,
around.
that's what I thought I saw as well. So that's neat.
So, my week has been pretty uneventful, except my hair, I'd been growing out for a long time, and it was the longest I'd ever had it, and it was really annoying, and I kind of hated it, and I shaved it all off, and I have not regretted it yet.
Whoa, I have not seen this.
Well, apparently you didn't open Instagram.
I didn't. I open it Instagram intermittently.
I will put a picture in the chat of what I look like right now.
Hell yeah, let's look at this shit. Let's look at... Fuck it, Smooth Bernard.
Bald Nard. Oh my gosh.
Fuck it, Smooth Bernie. Oh, that is quite the change.
Yes, it is. I used to have a lot of hair, now I don't.
Now you have...
A, you look good. B, you look like something that I can't quite place my finger on. It's going to be driving me nuts.
Okay.
You look a little like Buck Angel.
Who's that?
I don't
He
know.
is
I
a
actually
transgender porn star.
Oh, cool.
I actually do know who it is,
Porn
but I do
star.
not know what he looks like. So, yeah.
He looks a little like that.
Cannot confirm. You look kind of like Odd Job
Who's Odd Job?
From
the
James Bond.
Is he
cool.
the one? Is he the one that's you're not supposed to play as in GoldenEye?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's cheating.
Okay. Cool.
So if you were in GoldenEye, I would say, hey, quit cheating.
Or we could all play as me in GoldenEye.
Well, then you just want to activate the tiny mode cheat.
I see.
Y'all remember when games had cheats?
Yeah, cheats are nice.
R.I.P.
When I get back to playing Panzer Dragoon, I looked it up, and there is an Infinite Lives cheat. I'm probably going to use that, because that game's hard.
Yeah, honestly, Panzer Dragoon 1, it's a beautiful game. I love it, but the difficulty is not exactly just right. You can just fucking cheat and experience the music and the graphics, and then, yeah, it's not... The other games, I think, are very impeccably designed, and I would caution against cheating, but Panzer Dragoon 1, fuck it. Also, what else has cheat codes, apparently? This danged election, am I right? Hey-oh. Okay.
Perfect. You did it.
Cool.
You got the Mayo cheat.
Cheat Buttigieg.
the cheat. I would vote for the cheat. No, I wouldn't. He'd probably be a terrible president.
Probably.
Yeah, he would. Well, he would be Strong Bad's vice president. He wouldn't be president.
Yeah, that's true. Would we vote
would
for
not.
Strong Bad?
I would not vote for Strong Bad. Sorry. We've already got a guy with a red face in the White House. Am I right, folks?
Well, Strong Bad would presumably be running against the King of Town as the incumbent. So the question is, do we want Strong Bad over the King of Town?
Oh yeah, that's like the plot of episode 4 of the game, which is fucking great.
Episode 2.
Ah.
It's sad that I know which episode it is.
Well, it's
probably.
the best part of the whole game.
Actually, I think episode 1 is the best because it's the most like just a classic Homestar Runner episode.
Oh boy, this is now Homestar Runner cast featuring
God.
Bernard.
You do not want to get me started on a Homestar Runner.
We definitely could probably do a Homestar Runner cast featuring Bernard. We wouldn't even have to watch the episodes. I would watch them each week, but you would not have to.
You could just say the words Homestar Runner, and then I would talk for an hour.
And then I turn the recording button off.
Yeah, both of us just sit back and kind of...
Just once a week, I just say the word Homestar Runner and let you just free association. Joe Biden style. Sorry. I'm sorry. Look, I have election brain, okay? I'm sorry. I can't think about anything else. You gotta be patient with me. It'll go away.
Well, apparently Bernard can't think of anything else but Homestar Runner now, so... Good
Yeah,
job.
we'll have for half the podcast, you say Homestar Runner and I free associate. Then I say politics, and you free associate.
And then we say Final Fantasy 14, and...
No one wants to hear about that. It's like all just RP bullshit.
We need a unifier, like, I don't know, Twin Peaks.
Yes!
Or, check out this segue. The game that we're all currently playing, Ys 1, Vanish, Ancient Ys Vanished.
Ys, Ancient Ys Vanished?
Yeah, that's one way that thing that it is called.
No, but you pronounced Ys two different ways in the title.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which I thought was humorous.
Yeah, well, I got it wrong the first time. Anyway, yeah. Bernard, what's going on? Oh, wait, let's all listen to some music.
You know, I can just cut around what we say.
I think it's fun to do that, though.
Okay, let's listen to some music. So, we are finally in Darm Tower.
Or the Tower of the Doomed. A sentence that actually makes sense.
It's so much better. And in Darm Tower, we quickly find an evil ring. And we don't put it on, because it's called the evil ring, and we have played Dragon Quest.
It's funny as shit. You put it on, and literally you exit the equipment menu, and then you just die. And then the game over music plays. It's just like...
Perfect.
But you die the same way as if you would just been like, lost all your health. It's just like, ring, dead. Of course I did it out of curiosity, but I did save first, and yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
In the Chronicles version, your health quickly drains, but you can't take it off.
Same shit then.
Yeah. We also find some equipment as we're going along, which isn't as good as the silver equipment. We could have gotten it outside the tower, but it's also inside the tower, even though we should have all the silver equipment by now.
So they're catching you up to be nice.
Yeah, in case you just wanted to have it.
My game didn't do that. That's cool, though.
After exploring a few floors, we walk straight into an unavoidable trap, and we get teleported into a prison cell. And our silver equipment is missing too, which is bad, because we like that.
We worked so hard on that good equipment, and now it's all fucking gone. They didn't take any of our other supplies, though.
Yeah, they left us, still a pretty good sword and shit. But who is in the cell but our maybe person we've met before, Luda Jimma?
Oh, yeah.
He says he somehow sleepwalked here, and the monsters threw him in the cell. So I guess he sleepwalked through the thieves' hideout, and none of the thieves were like, yo, man...
He was fucking... Maybe it's like me. Maybe he played Metal Gear too much, and he played Metal Gear so much that it invaded his dreams. So he was doing Metal Gear in his sleep. And he snuck past all the guards.
Nice. He also mentions he saw someone else in a room with a row of statues, but that guy disappeared. And on our way here, we saw a room with a row of statues. After we wait around a while, we can look around, but there doesn't seem to be any way out. A large man bursts through the fucking wall.
It's Kool-Aid Man!
Jerry bursts through the wall.
He says Doggy's his name and wall crushing's his game. He also says that there's an old man named Rabba in a room with a row of statues, and Rabba knows the tower well, and we should talk to him. Also, you should give him this idol that turns people invisible, because it belongs to Rabba, and he must have dropped it. And we're like, okay. In the room with the statues, we use the Mask of Eyes to find a tiny room with an old dude in it.
Bernard, you're pronouncing it wrong. It's obviously the Mask of Ys. No, it's Ice.
The Mask of Ice. No. Rabbit tells us he entered the tower 6 months ago to study it, but then all the monsters appeared, so he's been hiding out with the help of the idol. That turns you invisible. And I wonder what he's been eating and drinking for 6 months in this tower, because he can't fight the monsters, so he's not eating monster meat.
He's been eating. He's been hunting. He's been eating small rats who have been scurrying about and other things.
Ew.
You know, scrounging.
Guy from Vampire Voice. This is despicable.
That game that the two of us have played.
That game that literally only I have played. When you eat a rat in that game, he says, "This is despicable."
Disgusting.
Beautiful.
It's such a good game. Play Vampire. Rabba suspects Ys existed on Asteria. His hypothesis is that something like the Stormwall appeared when Ys fell and prevented escape as monsters slaughtered the people and built Darm Tower. Once the tower was complete, the monsters disappeared. Rabba gives you a blue necklace which will protect you from the tower's traps. Now we can get past the teleport trap. And Sam just commented on the picture I posted in Discord saying, "Is that Evo Kintober?" And yes, it is. Past the trap, we meet Dogi, who I guess also somehow got past the trap, even though I don't know. He says Jebba said a long time ago that there's a rod you need to reach the top of the tower. So guess we're going to have to find that too. As we explore, we find our silver sword and shield. The lighting on the balconies changes as you're going through the tower to show the passage of time,
Not
which
fucking
is so
mine.
cool.
Mine, every single balcony is the exact same, and you definitely have to... It's a very complicated dungeon. It's very, very elaborate, and I was doing a pretty good job mapping it in my head, but if I ever, stopped playing it for, 3 days, and then went back to it, I'm like, oh, fucking, where the goddamn was I?
But, yeah, well... the balconies all look the same in this one, but the further you are in the dungeon, the lighting on every balcony changes to show the passage of time.
Oh, I was thinking it was I know you said it was time, but back in older games that's more. But I guess this is the remake. So if you go back down, it still is the same lighting. So you can't tell where you are by the lighting.
Right.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, same as me then. But that's a cool trick.
In this version, however, you can turn on an overlay that shows your current stats, and it also shows when you're in dungeons has a thing that says the name of the room you're in, so it says what floor you're on, which helps. And so as we go along, we also find a boss, and it's a horrifying giant mantis with giant blade arms, and it shoots blades at you, and it's pretty easy. It took me 2 tries.
Wow, nice.
Maddie, how was it for you?
It took me... He was pretty easy after I found my equipment. It's very easy to get him before you found any of your silver equipment again. Mm-hmm. In which case he's stupendously hard. And I didn't know, the structure of this tower. I wasn't sure that I was going to be having to piecemeal get my shit back. So I was just trying, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is too hard. Actually, it might have actually been dinging, so then I would have known. No, it wasn't dinging. It was just doing very little health. So yeah, but once I gave up and explored a different direction and found my equipment, I believe it was pretty reasonable. I enjoyed it, though. It was pretty fun to play.
I was playing most of this fairly last minute, and I also wanted to make sure that I, saw everything as we were going through. So I was using a guide, even though I would have probably liked to have just wandered my way around for hours. But yeah, so I did everything in the most optimal way.
I continued my not using a guide. I did give up last night. Well, my playing last night was only literally just 2. It was only 2.2 things I had to do, but I hadn't played the game in 5 days. So I definitely, and also you have to backtrack. So I was just okay, fuck it. I got to use a guide. I got to go 7 floors back down the tower to talk to Luda Gimma again. I definitely have forgotten where he is. So I had to use a guide a little bit. Also for some bullshit about the final boss. But for the most part, I'm glad I didn't, because like you said, Bernard, I got to just kind of wander around, and it's got that old school game design where wandering around is kind of just like a part of it. So it was nice. Also, I've said this already. It reminded me of Metal Gear. Walking into a pre-programmed in trap and then having to wait for whatever. That's in Metal Gear 1. It's super cool how much it reminds me of these games. Also, actually, no. I'm looking something up, but y'all just go on while I look it up.
So, past the boss, we find a chest with a Book of Ys in it, and we also find a chest with a hammer in it. So, back to exploring. We have a hammer now.
Yay! Gonna break shit.
Yes. Very soon. Further up the tower, we find an extremely creepy hallway. It has, like, fucking pulsating red vines on the wall, and really creepy music is playing. And if you run through the hallway, your health very quickly drains. You can only make it to a tiny room partway through. And Rabba is there. He says the monsters caught him and threw him in there. They also broke his idol, so he can't turn invisible anymore. He says he can't escape because the eerie hum of the Devil's Corridor can kill a man. And we can't get through the corridor even after healing up, so we have to retreat. Exploring further, we can find Luda Gimma, who got his ass kicked by monsters. There's a lot of blood, but he insists he's fine. He says Rabba told him a girl was taken to the tower's annex, and we have to save her. Also, the pillars on the balcony above the Devil's Corridor have holes in them, which look like they would conduct wind for some musical purpose. You have a hammer, so you smash a pillar.
Just smash shit.
Yeah, and now that you've smashed one of the pillars, creating the hum, the Devil's Corridor has been rendered ineffective, and we go down there and we find Rabba has escaped. Past the corridor, we can climb further. The music changes, and the floor is mirrors.
Pause. That's very interesting. My game's completely different. In my game, we still have the cool hallway, but it's just poison gas. Well, I think it's more like an evil wind. And by hitting the pillar, you're just ventilating the room.
Oh.
Yeah. Of course, this is explained very abstractly, because of the writing of my version of the game. It's got that classic Zelda 1 kind of vague writing. But yeah, it's the same thing. Also, the hammer, when you have it equipped, you can hit B or whatever button it is at any time to use the hammer. In my game, there's no kind of animation or anything. It literally just makes a sound like a woof kind of sound, but there's no animation or graphics or anything, so you just have to use your imagination that you're swinging a hammer.
Same in this game.
But it's hilarious that the only thing you ever use the hammer for in the whole game is hitting the pillar, but you can continue to hit the B button to make the whoomp sound if you feel like it. Anyway, yeah, you go through the poison room.
Mm-hmm. So the music changes, and the floor is mirrors, as I was saying. We find Rabba there, and he got his ass kicked by monsters, and tells us that 3 stories up there's a suspended tower called Rado's Annex. A girl is imprisoned there, but the door can only be opened by one with an evil heart. Adel's heart is pure, naturally, but maybe, and this is a direct quote, with the right item.
So we have to wear it, right? We have to put the evil ring on? Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have to put the evil ring on. But not yet.
Man, I'm so annoyed that apparently he just completely tells you this, because this is the part that was stumping me last night. I actually got to the door and couldn't figure out how to open it, but I hadn't finished exploring, so I figured I just was missing a key. But then it turns out I wasn't, and I just forgot that the guy just literally just says, "Hey, put the key on you, ding dong," or the ring on you, ding dong.
So on the next floor, and also in the floor with the mirror, in the room with the mirror floors, there are mirrors on the walls as well, but we can't interact with them yet. On the next floor, we encounter another boss. It's a bunch of floating boulders. I have no idea what you're supposed to do to it, because I wasn't reading the guide for the bosses. I just, ran around and rocks were flying at me, and I was like, I guess I'll try hitting it, so I just ran into the boulder pile in the middle of the room, and we both started losing health, and it ran out of health right before me.
And that's what really matters.
So it was sort of like For the Frog, the Bell Tolls.
Nice.
So I won.
Good job.
Maddie, what was it like for you?
Completely different. They must have redesigned this boss. For me, it was like a floating sphere boulder with kind of like a red molten center, and it was moving around like a regular boss. I actually forget what its moves were, because again, this was, I think, like 2 weeks ago I was playing this, because I was ahead. I think it wasn't very hard, which is why I don't remember it. But yeah, it was more like a regular boss, and I believe it was rather sensical in nature.
Yeah, there was like sort of a sphere with the boulders floating around it, but they were like floating so fast, I don't know if it would have been feasible, but then again, this game expects some things of you.
It really does.
But I could have just run in and gotten a hit off, then run out, but what I did worked. First try, so...
Yeah, this game is one of those kind of games where half the time you can't figure something out, half the time you're stuck, there's like a trick to it, but the other half of the time the game's just like, no, fucking do it. Get good, coward.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure out which one's which, which situation you're in.
Past the boss, we find another Book of Ys and the rod that Dogi mentioned. With the rod, we can now use the mirrors on the walls in the mirror room to warp around, and in this maze, we finally find our silver armor.
Huzzah!
At the end of the maze, we find ourselves at floor 16, which has awesome music, and we find the battle shield, which is better than our silver shield, and we find the bridge to the annex, which looks super cool in the Chronicles version.
In this game too, same match system. It's a lot simpler, but it looks very cool.
Mm-hmm. As we go through the annex, we get to a really awesome, like, isometric view screen where we climb up this long staircase up to a very spooky door at the top.
Whoa.
And, yeah, we have to equip the evil ring to get in there. But if we equip the blue necklace that nullifies traps, the evil ring will not kill us. So we have to equip both at the same time, and we can open the door.
Yay!
In the room, we find Rhea. She says she let herself be captured so she could talk to us. And here, my notes just say, geez. She says that the man who locked her in this room is named Dark Fact. And if he gets all the books of Ys, shit will be bad. Maddie, is he called Dark Fact in your version?
No, actually, I do have it here. Let's see. Because I took a bunch of screenshots. Actually, since we're here, I'll just read the whole thing. It's one of my memorable moments, but I have plenty. So, these screenshots are all out of order. What the bojangles? That's weird and annoying. Let me keep clicking around. I'll tell you in a friggin' second.
I was going to just continue talking
Gotcha.
So that you could keep looking.
Gotcha.
But then you interrupted me.
Sorry.
Rhea says Dark Fact wants to use the monsters to take over Asteria and maybe even the world. She gives you a monocle, which, in addition to probably making you look like an asshole, lets you read the books of Ys. And she also says that Dark Fact's cape is lined with Claria, which is the metal from Ys that we might remember was mentioned in the books. Without equipment made from Claria, we will not be able to beat him.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, there's me not noticing that. So here's what she says in my game. Well, she said one or two other things, and then she says, actually, I have something for thee, so I let myself be captured on purpose. A man in a black cloak named Dulk Decked.
Dulk Decked?
Dulk. D-U-L-K D-E-K-T. Dulk Decked. Trapped me in here. He intends to rule our land through the power of his evil creatures. Thou must kill this Dulk Decked. Be careful, though. His cloak is made of a strange... And then I forgot to take a screenshot. She did not make it nearly as obvious as she did for y'all. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Sorry. Rhea also mentions that although Darm Tower is dreadful, it feels familiar. Now we can read the next 2 books.
Yay.
One of them is called The Book of Gemma. Maybe we should talk to Luda Gemma,
Yeah.
even though that's a ton of awful
I was
backtracking.
gonna say, we know that name.
Yep.
Since this is a part in the game where we read those books, let me go ahead and read them for you.
Yeah.
We have finally found ourselves cornered in the Temple of Solomon. The 6 great demons dog our every step and will be upon us soon. We have decided to leave this land for now and hope that we may one day return. Take heed, O divided peoples, for grievous times loom upon all paths of the future. But do not lose hope, for time has decreed that a guide shall come. O peoples, still your laments. And then the next book, the Book of Gemma, says, He came, bringing his demon hordes with him, and amidst our darkest terrors the goddesses disappeared. They have not been seen since. Have we been forsaken? We, the line of Gemma, know an ancient story. It speaks of an amulet made of a translucent blue crystal. This amulet, the story says, has the power to destroy the demon's dreaded curses. Take note, however, of the weight that time has wrought upon this tale. Proceed with wisdom, for there is danger.
Terrible deeds are afoot, dear reader. Terrible darkness a must.
So we go all the way back to where Luda Gemma is, which is annoying.
Yep.
And he says that, he's like, hey, why the fuck do you have the Book of Gemma? That's my family's, quote, ancestral album. And I lost it when I was a little boy, because I'm a dumbass.
Why were you just carrying it around?
Meanwhile, we're like, hey, this book says we need a magic amulet, you asshole. Why didn't you just give us the magical amulet last time we saw you?
He says his father said the person who collected all the books of Ys would be able to bring peace to Asteria, and he gives us an heirloom, the blue amulet.
But we only got 5 of them. We haven't even done what he said yet.
Well, funny enough, when I read the book and it said the blue amulet, I assumed it was talking about the blue necklace that Rabba gave us.
No, Bernard, the blue amulet.
Not a necklace, an amulet. So, heading back up, we find the battle armor, which is better than the silver armor. And further up still, we find a bunch of really strong enemies that burst through the wall like Dogi. But if you sneak around and go into the hole in the wall, you find the fire sword, which is this awesome sword made of fire. It's the most powerful sword in the game. And after that, we find another mirror maze. The maze leads to another boss. And it's not exactly easy, but it only took me one try. Maddie, what was the boss like for you?
This one was stupid hard at first. Once again, same shit. And then I think I was missing one of the equipment. Not the flaming sword. I think it was maybe the flaming armor. I just hadn't explored fully. Remember, I always, when given 2 paths, always accidentally pick the one that leads to the boss first, and then the exploration bonus loot paths I always end up having to go back to later. That's just my curse. But I think I beat it on my first try after coming with full equipment, but, like, not because it's easy, but because I had already tried it so many times. It's a neat boss. Explain what's going on with it from at least in your game.
So there are 2 giant heads floating around, and they have orbs circling them.
Orbs.
And orbs. No. And if I recall correctly, one head is yellow and one head is gray. And you have to attack the yellow head, because the gray head is invulnerable. And when you attack the yellow head, the 2 heads switch places. And you have to just keep attacking the yellow head. And it's pretty tough, because they move around fast, and they got these orbs circling them.
Yeah, they bounce around the room. So one way you can do it is, they have 4 orbs around them, so you can go through the orbs. It's like you just sort of time it right and dart in through the orbs. Oh, the head itself doesn't hurt you. You can overlap it. But you can only hit it once, so it's like whatever, right? So you can dash in to the 4 rotating orbs, hit the enemy, and then dash out. But that's tough, honestly. They're moving fast. The hitbox is tight. It's fucking hard. What I did was, if you hit one of them and then it transitions to the other one and it's not vulnerable anymore, just stay inside of it and then follow along with the one you're currently with until it gets to the middle of the screen where the two will intersect. The two will pass each other. And then you kind of just wiggle your joystick or smash your directional keys back and forth. Because, like, if they're right next to each other and you hit one of them, you can then hit the other one, and then the first one, and then the other one. And you just kind of go wiggle, 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 wiggle. And when you do that, their orbs are fucking hitting the shit out of you while this happens. You're getting hit by the orbs. But I was finding that I was doing more damage to them than they were doing to me. Barely. Actually, it was pretty close. But the thing is, once you hurt them like 50%, one of the orbs goes away from each one. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it becomes much easier.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. The battle gets easier as you go on.
Like, significantly.
Because the orbs start to disappear.
Yeah.
And when the first orb disappeared, my brain, like, for a second, interpreted the other orbs as spinning faster, just because that would be logical. But no, they spin the same speed.
Yeah, so once one or maybe two disappear, then you switch your strategy, because my wiggle, wiggle, wiggle strategy is actually very risky and random. You switch to, okay, I'm going to dart in and then dart out, and now that's a lot easier. It was a cool fucking boss.
Mm-hmm. So, right after that boss, we go through a door, and we see Dark Fact, the villain of this game, for the first time.
Yeah, and that door that after this boss at the end of the long, dramatic hallway staircase, that door doesn't open unless you have the amulet, which is when I had to I found this door way before I found anything else. So, say love you.
Yeah, the guide that I was using mentioned you don't have to go see Ludogema now, but you should, because there'd be a lot more backtracking if you waited until you have to. I was like, I don't have that much time, so, and, you know, the final boss might end up taking me an hour. Darkfact says some generic villain stuff, and then we fight him. And Eli, I bet when you saw what happens, you were glad you didn't have to fight him.
Yes, I was incredibly glad.
I was thinking to myself, oh boy, Eli is gonna fucking hate this.
Oh yeah, I was so glad that I gave up on this game and just watched videos. Because, like, if I had gotten through everything else by some miracle, this would have just... I would have just... like, thrown my fucking computer out the window. Yeah, it looked god-awful.
Yeah, so I didn't remember exactly what happened. I remembered the final boss being very difficult, but, like, as soon as the fight started, I just, like, screamed, holy shit, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There's fire coming at you from all angles, all the time, and there's pieces of the floor that are falling out, which is just great.
Yeah.
And you do, like, no fucking damage to him.
So the fireballs... So there are fireballs shooting at you, and the fireballs will, like, hit the ground and then explode into 8 bullets that go in the cardinal directions. And
it's 8 for you?
Yeah, it's 8 for me, baby. And every time you hit... Dark Fact is just pinging around the screen like a pinball. Every
like
time you hit him,
it's like the screensaver thing on the DVD.
Yeah.
Yes, except a lot faster.
Yeah.
Every time you hit Dark Fact, the floor where you were standing disappears, and it's very easy to trap yourself this way and just be stuck in a corner and die. So yeah, he is really hard. And what I find funny is, in order to beat this guy, you have to use the silver equipment. You just have to.
Yep.
You can damage him with the fire sword. However, you would run out of floor long before you did enough damage to kill him.
And also the armor, of course, his attacks hurt you more. So yeah, it's basically, even ignoring the whole floor thing, it's a nearly impossible boss with the best equipment. I didn't realize this because I'm bimbo.
Well, you know, you got the fire sword fucking 2 minutes ago. I'm sure you think you can still use it. I sure did.
No.
But no, that fire sword is good for one boss. That's all you get to use it for.
And the enemies.
And the enemies, but there's like 2 rooms before you get to the boss.
Unless you're me and you have to explore for a long time. But yes. Yeah,
oh, that's fair.
Yeah. No, I got good use out of that flaming sword. TBQH. But yeah, you got to go back to your silver equipment.
Yeah. So how long did this fight take you, Maddie?
Okay, so I tried it a bunch of times and was like, are you goddamn kidding me? Before I realized the equipment thing. And I actually did look at a guide because I was like, am I doing something wrong here? Or no. I was watching a long play to see if I was missing like a strategy. Like I was watching the long play fight him. But when I watched the long play fight him, I noticed that the health bar was going down more when they hit him. And their health bar was going down less when they got hit. So that's when I realized, oh, I need to change my equipment. And turns out, no, my strategy was fine. Because I'd already tried it like 4, 5, 6 times before switching my equipment, when I actually put on my silver stuff, first try.
Nice.
Because, so in my game, the fireballs come from off screen, and they hit the ground. When they're flying, while the fireballs are flying, they do not hurt you. So you don't have to worry about dodging them or about them coming off screen and surprising you. But once they blow up, they alternate. One will blow up in up, down, left, right direction. The next one will blow up in diagonal direction. The next one will blow up in up, down, left, right direction. So in your head, you have to constantly be keeping track of which one you're on. And they go pretty fast, too. Sometimes you'll have 2 coming on screen at once. But, like, the diagonal ones are the best, because they usually blow up when they are on a cardinal direction from you, usually to your left or right. So if it's one of the ones that's diagonal, you just ignore it, because you know it's not going to fucking hit you. But if one of the ones comes in from screen and in your head you're realizing this is one of the cardinal ones, you have to be ready to dodge. So you mostly just focus on defense, and then stay on the edges of the screen, on the edges of the battlefield, and wait for a chance to get the bad guy. Because if you get on the edge of the screen, only the edge of the screen will get destroyed. Yeah, it's fucking tough. But for mine, at least, once you get a handle on the fact that it's not random what direction the rocks go, you can keep a handle on it. It was tough, though. I had maybe a couple hits left worth of health when I beat him.
The poor guy I was watching, and I should shout him out, Bumpy McSquigums on YouTube. Love the name. And I, based on what he said at the end, that was East 1 was his first Let's Play on YouTube. So good job, man.
Aww.
You did it.
Good job, Bumpy McSquigums.
Yeah, he had so many problems. His episodes are like 30 minutes long. This was like a 35-minute long episode. And almost the entire episode was him just trying to kill Dark Fact.
It took me, about an hour of trying to kill Dark Fact. Interestingly, my strategy was completely different. There are so many fireballs in this version, and every fireball explodes into 8 directions, so there is so much bullet hell going on screen that you can't really make a point of avoiding them.
Uh-huh.
So what I had to do was just be as aggressive as I could with Dark Fact, trying to hit him. And while doing that, try and stick as far as possible to the edges of the arena, because that's where the bullets have dispersed the most, so you're safest there. But not actually, putting an effort to avoid them. Just trying to damage Dark Fact fast enough that he's taking more damage than I am. And yeah, maybe I could have been doing a better strategy, but I got where I was, because also he bounces in the exact same pattern each time, so also learning that pattern helped. But yeah, I got to where I was doing good damage to him consistently, but often I would just mess up and trap myself with the disappearing floor or something.
And also, I was saying how I was playing very defensively and staying near the edges, but first of all, the guy moves fucking fast.
Yes.
So it's very easy. Although one thing is, if you manage to hit him multiple times in a row, like like you get him a couple times, it still only makes one floor disappear.
Oh, not in mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the floors that disappear will sort of overlap, but there will definitely be a lot of floor disappears.
For mine, it's like, you know how in a shooter sometimes, or in any kind of game, an enemy will put like a targeting reticle on you and it'll stay there for a couple seconds and then like a missile drops down?
Mm-hmm.
It was like that. When you hit him, your character, the tile where you're standing, kind of starts like shimmering, and then just in like a quarter of a second, very quickly, the floor disappears. But if you hit him again while it's still shimmering, it'll like reset the shimmer. Arrival 2018, or not Arrival, excuse me, Annihilation 2018. The shimmer. Yeah. So it's like it just resets it and it continues shimmering. So that's why if you hit him 2 or 3 times, either right in a row, like or if you just get lucky, he bounces off the ceiling and you hit him again, right? And every time that happened, I was like, okay, that's like an objective like victory. That means I'm like fucking the floor up way less than I would have if I had hit him 3 independent times. I wasn't like trying to make that happen exactly, but I was certainly grateful when it happened, and maybe kind of trying to. In order to get that to happen, you have to be tracking the same direction as him. That way you can overlap him for longer. It's fucking tricky, but no matter how well you do, you're gonna fuck up. By the end of my battle, I definitely had tons of holes in the middle of the floor that I was I was 1 or 2 more holes away from just being boxed in and not being able to do anything. I wanted to get a screenshot, but it cleared the floor before I had a chance to get a screenshot of my final battlefield.
No items.
Yes. I gotta hand it to them. Even though this boss was like kind of a pain in the ass, like this game has very simple mechanics, and they put a lot of effort into trying to find different fun things to do with it. I would not have been this creative, I think, if I had a game that was this simplistic.
Mm-hmm. And we got a whole nother game, so maybe they do even more creative stuff with it.
Yeah, geez, goodness gracious. But yeah, final boss. Also, again, because I didn't understand contextual clues, with the whole, like, the criteria or whatever, part of me was like, why is the silver equipment better against him? Well, I guess he kind of looks like a vampire. I was like,
he does kind of look like a vampire.
I was like, yeah, it makes sense. He's a vampire. Silver. Okay, we're fine.
Well, now he's more like dark fiction, am I right?
What's dark fiction?
Good one.
Thank you. Thank you. I worked real hard on
anyway, what happens when we kill this Dulk Decked?
I will not use that name. That is terrible.
It's really bad.
Man, this game was doing pretty good with Tower of the Doomed, but
they lost me on Dulk Decked.
Like Dulk, I get it's the typical RL merger, right?
Yeah.
With Japanese translations, but Decked,
yeah,
such a gross word.
Sounds like a fucking Sith Cardassian.
Sounds like Tidus's uncle.
So, after we try to fight Darkfact for like an hour, we beat him and we find the final book of Ys. And we read it. And it says, "Suddenly, in the new light of the rising sun, his siege stopped. Wherefore it happened, no one knows, even now. But there was rejoicing, for it meant the end of our suffering. To ensure that he would never return, we have sealed away the power of Ys. It lies within the 6 books, and will be given to one who collects them all, so that he may become a guide and lead us to peace. But heed ye who read these words. Those who use the powers of demons shall one day be consumed by them. The prosperity held within is a lie. It is he who leads that shapes the form of evil. All that is, jewel and adamant alike, is a treasure of Ys, as given us by our merciful goddesses." So the books float around us like chaos emeralds, and there's a big flash of light. And then we get this beautiful exterior view of the tower, and there's an epilogue that says, "The morning sun began to rise. Gradually the sky brightened, and the tower's outline began to shimmer like a mirage. As if freed from captivity, birds began to sing, and the demons dissolved into air. Adel felt the weight of a long journey lift from his heart. The world was at peace. It was as though the historic bounty of Ys had been laid before him to fill his eyes and soul. As the things written in the books vanished, one by one, the shapes of the goddesses began to materialize. Though their faces were unfamiliar, Adel felt in some way that he had always known them. As he looked down upon the earth, he could see Jebba's house, quiet and humble. He wondered if Fina's memory had come back. He decided that when he returned, he would immediately tell her of all that he had seen, which is like 4 bosses. Be like, man, Fina, this one boss was so hard. A dazzling light, seemingly from all sides at once, bathed Adel in radiance. He felt certain that it must be wishing him peace and good fortune. And so, Adel began a new journey. And then we get a screen that says, "To be continued."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even though it sort of seems like we already found the Books of Ys. But I guess, there's 8 more games, or 9 more, I guess.
Damn.
So, yeah. To be continued next week in Ys 2.
What's the subtitle for Ys 2?
I don't fucking know if it has a subtitle.
Yeah, also, I realize one of us, and by one of us I mean I'll do it, should look up where we're stopping next week because Sam had this all mapped out, and I forgot because it was a while ago. So I'll do that while y'all continue to discuss and or transition into memorable moments.
Ys 2 is called Ys 2, Ancient Ys Vanished, the final chapter.
Oh, nice.
So, let us play some music. There's like 12 tracks of music in this game, but even still, it's been hard deciding which tracks to use because I like them all.
Yep, it's good as shit. Yeah, I really love the music that plays in the final boss's chamber before you fight him.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid good.
Yeah. Do you have other memorable moments?
Oh, me? Oh, sure.
I mean, you sort of started, so...
Oh, well, first of all, I would like to read some of the dialogue and writing from my version of the game, just so y'all can appreciate how this game used to be, and how it is very different. Here's the lore you get from reading these damn books, alright? Let's see, starting with the book of Hadal. Ys once flourished because of a metal called Kraria. The great temple in the hills was a reflection of that prosperity. And then the Great Trouble began. That's it. Next. At that time, Ys was ruled by 2 goddesses and 6 high priests. The goddesses were the source of life for everyone and symbolized the strength of Ys. That's it. Next one. What was the Great Trouble, thou asketh? An enemy appeared suddenly and attacked the town. Lava burst forth from all around, burning in its path. We ran in all directions to escape. Somehow the Kraria was the root of our trouble. We sealed what Kraria remained deep inside the earth. If we ever were to dig it up, the trouble would start again. The rest of it is actually somewhat similar to what Bernard read today, but the first couple ones are like so freaking different from last episode, so I thought I would just share. Other memorable moments are a couple of different, just use of color. There's just lots of beautiful color in this game that I'll send to the chat in just a second. When you talk with the final boss, he says, "Thou hast done well to find that many books," which I like because it sounds like Dragon Quest. But the final thing that I really like is the writing at the end. I actually think is really a little bit more subtle and interesting in my version, even though it's so simplistic. A lot of it's the same. Dawn begins to brighten the world. We see the silhouette. We see the birds in the light of day. Adel's, or in my case, Aaron sees things before him, whatever. But here it is. Aaron stands still as stone and gazes out over the land. he can barely see Jebba's home in the distance. His thoughts turn to Fina. If he were to return now, he would first seek her to talk of the events that have come to pass, ... and other things. But a soft light surrounds Aaron, as if he had been blessed by the goddesses of peace. And that's it. He's like, if I were to go home, I would tell her, but a soft light surrounds him. I fucking love that. I think that's really super good and weird, and like, it doesn't say to be continued, but like, you know it's to be continued, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's cool subtle writing. I love it. I like a lot of the writing in this game. It's all very biblical. I like how it's written like it's a goddamn Bible, but also like the terminology. Like, my sword wasn't called Fire Sword, it was called Flaming Sword, which is the terminology you would use to describe the sword that the angel wields outside the Garden of Eden after Adam and Eve are evicted from it by God. Evicted, like he's a landlord.
Is God a landlord?
Ejected, perhaps, or banished might be a better word. I think a lot of the terminology, a lot of the symbols, a lot of the items, a lot of the locations, it doesn't really feel like fantasy so much as it feels like myth, and specifically I do feel like sometimes like Christian biblical myth, which is cool. That's a really cool aspect to this game. I wonder if the rest of the games are like that.
I mean, I can't imagine a Japanese role-playing game pulling from Abrahamic mythology. That sounds...
Yeah, that never
like,
happens.
That sounds like wild stuff for that to happen.
Yeah.
True, but it feels different than other stuff, though.
It does. It definitely feels different from, say, Xenosaga.
Yeah, it feels like it's pulling from the idea of religion and not from specifically like Christian symbolism and stuff. You don't have like crosses everywhere and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eli, do you have any memorable moments?
I really like that I didn't play this game, and that's very memorable for me.
Fair.
Other than that, no, not really.
So there is something really fun that you can do, at least in the Chronicles version of this game. So there are 3 jail cells in the basement of Darm Tower. And after Dogi saves you, you can go back into the teleporting trap again and get put into the 2 other cells. And each time he shows up to rescue you, and there's funny writing. And also, they even let you get some extra writing if you hold the idol while you're waiting for him to burst into the cell to rescue you. And there's writing where he's like, what the fuck? I thought you were here. Where are you? Are you using... Oh, let me get the exact quote, because it's funny. So, when you get trapped the 3rd time, he says, "Use your noggin, man. I love breaking walls, but I'm only one man. Stay out of trouble." And then he says, "Hey, there's no one here. Wait, are you using the idol? Damn it, man, cut that out." So he gets really angry at you, and I thought it was fun.
I really love that. That is really, really good.
There is so much optional, just weird side case dialogue in this game. I love it.
Yeah, the game's just so like, it's just really fleshed out and really full. It's just, yeah, it's neat. It's a fucking, honestly, I think this is one of my favorite games of the 8-bit era.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, saying a lot, because I like a lot of games from this year, from this time period. So yeah, I put it up there with Dragon Quest. I put it up there with Metal Gear. I put it up there with Zelda. Put it up there with Metroid. I think it's a really fucking good game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to playing East 2. I hope the bosses aren't too terrible.
Well, I do know that East 2 does add some actual new mechanics.
Ooh.
Yeah, like you can like cast spells and stuff. So it's not going to just be run into them and fucking get good. Not quite as much as this time around. So unfortunately, the bridge that you cross, I didn't get a screenshot of, annoyingly. But here is the final boss room.
Oh.
Right?
That's interesting colors.
Yeah. yeah, again, the whole game is just filled with these lovely, just simplistic, just super bold colors, and it's just yeah, it's one of my favorite things about it. It's, even though I'm loving this, even though I'm sure that the version y'all are playing is beautiful, I'm like a little bit bummed that I'm not going to be able to play another Master System game for East 2. Little bit of a bummer.
Or like ever, because how many other games are there on the Master System that are worth playing?
Yeah, exactly. Wait. Okay, I finally found the bridge.
I mean, you've already played Phantasy Star, so
yes, indeed.
Like, what else are you gonna play?
Yes, indeed. I got distracted and was unable to find out where we're playing to. Do y'all know?
Just a moment. Let me take a look. In East 2, we are going to save before entering the Sanctuary of Toal. This is a big plot thing, and you get a few fake-outs first. So when you give the books to the dudes, that's when you stop, is what Sam said.
Okay, thank
Great.
you, Sam. When you give the books to the dude. Oh, the 6 books that we have. I guess we're going to lose them even after we worked so hard to get them.
I guess so.
I suppose. Damn it. One more quick thing. Check out this screenshot. Just gonna send y'all one more. Since y'all can see some neat graphics.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the bridge.
I like this.
Yeah, it's ominous. It's purpler.
Oh, that's really cool.
The dark purple contrasted with the sort of very light purple of the ground and the blue. It's just, I love it. It's good shit.
Man, Master System should have more worthwhile games.
It really should. I'm definitely gonna get one of these. Although, have you ever played with an actual Master System controller?
Yes, they're bad.
They're awful. But you can also plug in a Genesis controller, so that makes it a lot better.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They use the same plug. You can just plug in a Genesis controller into a Master System. Thank God, because yeah, it's like it's an unplayably bad controller. Anyway, yeah, we're done. Thank you, Is, and who's the composer?
Yuzo Koshiro is the main composer for East 1.
Thank you,
and
Yuzo Koshiro, for doing a good fucking job.
Yes. Let me make sure. Yes, Yuzo Koshiro is also the main composer on East 2.
Nice. Oh, right. Wait. Okay. I'm sorry. I know. Final fucking thing. This game had I'm not going to look at all the credits because I got distracted and didn't look at them. But when you're looking at the credits, the director of this version of the game is credited as Gamer Miki.
Huh.
Nice.
So I'm glad this game was made by a gamer, because I wouldn't want to have a fake gamers making my video games. Those damn SJWs.
Ace Watkins 2020.
Vote Ace Watkins.
Oh, I had something I was going to say, but then I got distracted thinking about Ace Watkins and his platforms and his...
Gamers' rights.
Yes. Give me just a second.
I frankly have two different political beliefs about gamers. I think gamers should either have full rights or should be illegal. I'm fine with either, frankly.
So, Maddie, do you know what version you're playing for East 2? Is it going to be like the TurboGrafx CD version, or?
First, I'm going to put some more effort into getting the version y'all are playing up and running. To see if I can get it to work, and I'll make sure to give it an effort more ahead of time this time. And if not, yeah, I'll probably play the TurboGrafx CD version.
Cool.
Because I fucking love the TurboGrafx CD, and I bet that version rules. Also, it's a lot better documented on like game FAQs and shit compared to this version.
Yes. Because who would fucking play a game on the Master System?
Exactly. So when I go online, the maps I didn't have any maps for this whole game because there aren't any that anyone's like uploaded. So any guide I used, it was just text only. I didn't have any useful maps that were actually an accurate reflection of the game I was playing. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'll probably do TurboGrafx, and y'all will be continuing on the Steam version, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Eli, Are you gonna keep doing video, or are you gonna jump back in and give it a shot just in case?
I mean, I'm probably going to just watch a video, but I might give it a shot. I don't know.
It's
we'll
up to
see.
you.
Yeah.
I don't know how radically different the game is. It's probably the same shit, so you'll probably peace out anyway.
Yeah. Very likely.
Hell yeah.
Cool. I can't wait to fight fucking Dark Fact Jr.
Oh god, that's right. I'm not going to be fighting Dulk Decked Jr. anymore. I'm going to be fighting Dark Fact. You know what? Fuck it. I'm sticking with the fan-translated, there isn't one, Sega Master System version. Whatever. To me, he's always Dulk Decked. Sorry.
I don't believe there's a Master System version of Ys 2 at all.
Yeah, I think actually you're right about that. But whatever. It's real to me.
It's real to me, damn it.
There is a Famicom version, which is not in English.
Ooh, I love the Famicom. The family computer. Anyway, whatever. I don't know. I'll fucking play some version of it. Who even knows? Anyhoomst. Yeah, Eli, you want to wrap us up for the week?
Yeah, so if you like what you hear, you should check us out at rpgbook.club. We got all our important links there, like our Discord, and our Twitter is at rpgbookclub. Our email is rpgbookclub@gmail.com. As well, if you would like to contribute to our podcast, please check out our Ko-Fi. It is ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub. If you contribute to it, you can vote on what games we play. Not the next game, because that's set in stone, but any other time that we have votes, because we like to do what you all want.
Yep.
And we need fewer ties, because then it's just, if there's a tie, then it's just us picking the game.
You hate when no game gets a plurality and you have to have a broker. Okay, I'm sorry.
We do have a shout out.
Oh yes, thank you, Bernard.
Maddie, do you want to shout out?
Yeah, you do that.
Oh, I don't have it in front of me. You do it.
I don't.
Since you know so much.
It's
okay. Let me find it.
It's in the host only channel. Adam
Sam
Gooding,
told us to shout. What is it again?
Adam Gooding. Sent us a message. I am sorry. The reason I wanted someone else to do that shout out is because I don't know who that is.
Oh, neither do we. But it's
okay.
I don't know who it is.
But yeah, Adam Gooding says that they found us on Spotify. Love the format. Keep up the great work. So thank you so much for being a new listener, Adam Gooding.
Yes.
We haven't seen you in our Discord. You should join our Discord because we love to have new people. And from your very tiny profile picture, I can tell that you're very attractive.
Yes.
It's a buck.
Wait, what? That's not a person?
It's
a buck.
It's literally so tiny I can't tell what it is. I was just joking about it being attractive.
I mean, it's a very handsome buck. Has large antlers.
Yeah, I thought it was like a person standing in the snow behind it in front of a tree. Anyway, Adam Gooding, you're cool. Join our Discord and say hi. And sorry for confusing you with the deer.
You don't have to join our Discord if you don't want to, but it's fun. We're all nice there.
We are. We're very nice.
Oh, I love how our closing ceremonies are always a disaster.
I'm not good at this.
Whatever, we're fucking. We need Sam come back. Only 3 more weeks. Only 3 more weeks until Sam is back.
Or maybe 4, depending on how it goes.
That's true.
Then we're gonna have a movie night. So maybe 5.
Okay, fine. It's going to be a fucking while before Sam comes back. Sam, we need you. We love you. We're sorry we drove you away. We didn't actually drive him away. Having a baby drove him away. We're sorry your baby drove you away. Damn that baby.
We're sorry your baby is apparently more important than your podcast.
What kind of millennial are you? Yeah, millennials don't have babies. We have podcasts. Anywho, so yeah, you've been apparently still listening to RPG Book Club. I've join us next week where we start with Ys 2. It's gonna be fucking great. I've been Maddie Grace Webbin.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I'm Bernard Houck.
Bye everybody.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.